Welcome in on this holiday week. Wanted a little three-way action here to get the vibes going, change up the pace a little bit. So, welcome in Josh, who has secured his playoff spot. How you doing, Josh?
Good, man. I secured my playoff spot.
You have an X next to your name in the standings, sir. You are in the playoffs.
Do I get a bye?
We do not do buys. It's
Mm.
everybody plays everybody, but
All
yeah,
right.
glad you're enjoying that, wanting to look for an easy way to the championship. So, but yeah, congrats. And then we got Ryan in here, manager of the Tongue Cat Throat Yogurt, coming off another tough week. Obviously, we know the bench decision hurts. We don't need to hit on it too much, but other than that, how you doing?
Yeah, opposite side of the spectrum. I think when I checked today, I have a 2% chance of the playoffs. So
2% is accurate.
hope's alive, but yeah, I mean Calvin Ridley, whatever. Uh, whatever. I
Can't
don't have
seem to
much
hit
to
the
say.
right. Can't seem to hit the
Every
right button on
Calvin
the.
Ridley, yeah,
Can't seem to hit the right button on the quarterback spot either. It's one week, one thing, and then another. So unless
doesn't
you
matter
got those
what I
top
do.
line guys, it's kind of wishy washy. But
Yep.
but yeah, I just kind of wanted to start. Obviously, we had a quite adventurous week this week in the league as far as the trade deadline goes. Not going to spend too much time on it. Not going to ask for any commentary from these guys, but just kind of wanted to hit on that. Yeah, some things are going to change moving forward as far as whether it's additional co-commissioner, so it's not all on my plate to make these decisions, or how to handle these veto situations or whatnot. We'll probably try to dump the veto to kind of keep it to a smaller commissioners circle type deal, but we'll figure that out in the off season. Sorry if your trades didn't work out the way that you wanted them to. For some people, obviously it was a few people that wanted trades to work out. Got some vetoes, and we don't have to get into the logistics. We have only 10,000 text messages to read to go over that. But yeah, so just wanted to touch on that. We move forward. The only real significant impact as far as everyone is concerned is the playoffs. Procell's Ghost is not going to be a playoff team as he is not in the money in the running. So when it comes time, I will adjust him out of the playoffs, assuming he's going to probably make it. And then whoever is that 9 seed, whether it's myself, Nate, Ryan, or George is eliminated, unfortunately. So probably one of us three hunting for that last spot. Will be that 8 seed. It is what it is. Just so moving on from that. But yeah, so just gonna jump in here, gonna get the screen popping, and we're gonna talk about some fantasy football on this Thanksgiving week. So got the standings pulled up here. So here you go, Josh. Yeah, 8-3, cream of the crop. Got the X next to the name. Congrats. And then poor George down here, eliminated. But it might not be eliminated in our new function because he's only 3 games behind me, who has that last spot with 3 to go. So there is a world, I suppose, where he can slide into that. But yeah, so points for Josh leads the pack by a pretty good margin. So much for that shitty draft you had. And then points against, Mike's taking advantage of the weaker schedule and playing guys in the right week. And that kind of is just the majesty and magic of the fantasy football gods. So yeah, just really tight here still. 8 through 2 are a game apart. So we could see a lot of moving parts in the last couple of weeks here. So going to go back to last week. I will start with let's start with Josh here. So Josh, how do we feel about your matchup this past week?
Man, I was a little worried at first, just because Austin Eckler wasn't he didn't have a good week. Going into I thought it was a pretty even matchup. But as the week went on, when the week started off, I thought Austin Eckler was gonna be the reason why we lost by a couple points. But the Cowboys defense
Does it again?
helped me. Yeah, they helped me out. Josh Allen didn't shit a brick like he did last week. So, when that happens, and then David Montgomery continues to be consistent, which he's been all season when he does play, it's it's a pretty solid squad I got there.
Yeah, it's nice that you get a win with Kamara on bye. He's been fantastic for you since he's come back from that suspension.
Yeah.
You know, you've had some issues with the tight end spots and things of that nature, but Logan Thomas seems to be who's kind of sliding in there week to week. And then just to talk about Bucher's team, kind of runs into the injury bug, obviously, with Kenneth Walker and Mark Andrews going down. Both appear to be rather lengthy injuries, so this really takes him from being that team that was sitting at the top to, are we going to make the playoffs? Are we going to have to play? How are we going to look? So, still a really solid squad. Henry is concerned for me. Jalen Warner on the bench. When does he get slotted in? Probably this week for one of these injuries. But Ryan, any closing thoughts on this matchup here?
Yeah, no, I think it kind of seems like this is where Josh is pulling away a little bit. I mean, Montgomery's a big surprise, even with their running back tandem. CeeDee Lamb looks like the best receiver in the game right now. And Thielen, who would have thought he was actually going to be a true number one there on a terrible team. But yeah, Bucher's team, it's interesting to see him at 6-5 right now when he had a 3-headed monster at running back. And really all three of them have kind of underperformed, and now you got an injury, 2 big injuries.
Yeah.
George Pickens hasn't been the guy that a lot of us thought he was going to be with that horrid offense. But he does have a sneaky Jalen Warren in there who's going to start, I think, taking all the Najee touches. So, yeah, kind of worried about Bucher's team. I thought he was kind of head and shoulders above everybody, 4 weeks ago, and now it's looking a little sketchy for him.
Yeah, I think he was 5-1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's been a kind of fall from grace here. So yeah, I mean, to touch on those running backs though, real quick, man, because like a month in, we were loving Pollard. Henry seemed like he was moving in the right direction, and Kenneth Walker was being as consistent as you'd want. Now you're down Walker. Tony Pollard has his first game over 10 points in the last 2 months, and then Henry is, who knows what you're getting out of that offense. So it's definitely some roster moves here. When does Kyler Murray start? So this team's still going to be really formidable, I think, and could beat anybody in the league. But yeah, definitely not that powerhouse we thought they were maybe a month ago. Ryan, I'll let you talk about your matchup here. Kind of run into it a little bit with the buzzsaw that is the Milkman, as it does happen, but not a bad showing for the Tonkat boys.
Yeah, I actually liked this matchup going into it because I had a few favorable matchups, and I liked Dobbs in prime time to have a big game. He didn't have a bad game, but just didn't light it up. But getting Connor back kind of made me a little more confident. Swift has been that guy. But I mean, Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence is just ridiculous. They've done nothing all year. Ridley hasn't had a touchdown since week 1. So it's still the right decision. I still would not have put them both in a starting lineup to be completely honest, but it in their matchup wasn't even all that favorable compared to some of the other ones, which is crazy. But it is what it is. They both had a breakout, and then next week they'll probably get negative points.
Interesting stat. When Zay Jones is on the field, Calvin Ridley has produced massive games. Those are the only 3 games that he's played well. So I don't know what's in the water with that, but maybe some domestic violence helps Calvin Ridley out. But Josh, any takeaways here?
Yeah, it was just an unfortunate event for Rye. I would have done the same thing with Josh Dobbs. He was hot. Trevor Lawrence, wasn't playing well. I would have made the same move, and to see Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence do really well on the 1 week that he doesn't start him, that had to be gut wrenching. But it's also the fun in fantasy, right? It's any Sunday. These are the type of things that happen. I will say that I still thought it would have been. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I think it was close at one point, and then the Milkman pulled away. A little surprised that Devin Singletary did it, just kind of busted out and put 20 points up. I'm actually a little salty because I was holding him for the longest time, waiting to see him do that. And
2 big games in a row.
Yeah, but he could become consistent, or he could just go, have that one game and fall off. But I thought that was a good play by Milkman to put him in. You take Devin Singletary out the picture, and it's a lot more closer than it really was. So it'll be interesting to see how these last couple weeks play out.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy I really think that can beat the Milkman, other than Josh's team, obviously, since you're in the first spot, is the Milkman with these roster decisions he has to make. Quarterback, Fields had a nice day, scored more than Stroud. Do we ride Stroud? What do we do? Just it feels like there's some roster decisions to be made here week by week that could come to bite you in the ass. Obviously, it's the Tyreek show. Bill's defense against Zach Wilson had a nice day, but yeah, I mean, really solid squad up and down. Ryan, good output. Like you said. I don't hate the decision to bench the guys you did because they've been so poor and inconsistent. So it just and 113 is going to win you a lot this week. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams you would have beat. So can't really kick yourself. And now you're only a game out of the playoffs with the Purcell debacle. So, it's so you're right there. So still, and then moving on here to myself versus Wuhan. Fields showed up, or I'm sorry, Herbert showed up. My boy Cortland Sutton and Kittle showed up. Everyone else stayed on the bus. Needed a miracle from Pacheco, did not get it. It's all good. We scored over 100. I'll take it. Wuhan, solid show. It's hard to beat McCaffrey and Debo when they're rolling. Really nice plug and play on Odell. I think that's the difference maker there. And Levis actually has a decent showing, so it helped him out there to get the win. But any takeaways other than that?
Yeah, I mean, really close game. I don't know if I could have started Odell even with my team being worse than Wuhan's. I mean, that's a risky play and it paid off. So shout out to him for making that decision. Jacoby Myers taking a little bit of a step back. He's slowed down lately. But McCaffrey, I mean, he's going to ride him, and Levis is looking consistent. Their offense looks a little more better than some of those other bad teams. So
yeah,
I think my concern with you right now is that running back depth. Now that's going to be a little tough, especially if we don't know what Keaton Mitchell's going to be. I mean, he could be the kind of guy to drop 2 points a week or 22. So that's going to be tough decisions around.
Well, I'll
him.
tell you what he is going to be. He's going to be my RB2. So,
so that's a risky play, but I mean, it'll pay off a week or two depending on matchups and how they're going to utilize them. But
yeah, hopefully it's only a week for Aaron Jones, and frankly, I can't really even be mad that I traded Rachaad White to Ed because Kittle has been so good for me since grabbing him.
Yeah,
that Rashaad's been great, but Kittle's been equally as good, so it's kind of nice. But any additional thoughts here, Josh?
Yeah, just Ryan's thoughts on Odell is exactly how I feel. I'm pretty sure I drafted him and I had him, and I dropped him just get with Odell. But shout out to Wuhan for picking him up and starting him on the game that he does. He has his best game, and it was just enough to get him over the edge. So
yeah, I mean it's 3 straight weeks now with 12 plus. So I mean, with Andrews going down, are we going to see this emergence of him kind of getting those targets a little bit? I think so. Kind of. Yeah. I mean, it looks that way, but that was a really good play, and obviously the riskiest play that there was, but worked out. Going over here to Team Nate versus Rearview. Ed's team continues to really kind of find itself here. Lamar, nice day, obviously, that we saw. Tank Dell's fantastic pickup, might be a league-winning type move to get him on the roster. Nothing from the Eagles guys this week. Luckily, didn't need it. This Gibbs-Montgomery vibe seems to be working. This is 2 weeks in a row now, both putting up close to over 15 each, and so that squad's looking really tough for the playoffs. And then looking at Nate. Gets Achane back, and Achane goes. Sadly traded Bijan. Thankfully has a lot of running back depth. A lot of guys on bye this week. So Ty Chandler looks like a really nice pickup based off how he ran in that game, primetime game. But yeah, getting JT and Stevenson in this lineup, team's just as good as anybody else in my mind. Josh?
Yeah, first off, I don't think I was tracking that Ed was in second place. Man, I thought Team Bucher was second. I think third.
Bucher slid down, I think, to 5th or 6th now. I think we have 3 teams that are 7 and 4.
Okay, so yeah, you said it earlier. Bucher has fallen from grace, but yeah, Ed has come back in this game into it because I think he started off slow. But yeah, he's looking like he has a strong roster too. He has 2 good quarterbacks. Brock Purdy's been having a good season, and as long as Lamar and the Ravens are playing good, Lamar is half the offense right there. So it's looking hard for Team Nate. He got Jared Goff in that trade, but he was having a good decent season, a good string of games, and then he kind of fell off and he didn't have such a good game. So that kind of that hurt him. And then Devin, I think that Dolphins running back came back, and I think we may have all thought that he was going to have a much better game than he did. So.
Well, he tore his knee up again, so that obviously kind of. So Mike gets rich again with Mostert, and Nate loses some value there. But yeah, I think in that trade though, getting Ramondre thrown in, he should be thanking the league for vetoing that first one, honestly, because adding Stevenson into this, I think that's going to be a huge value add down the stretch because Stevenson's like the only guy in that offense that can actually move the ball consistently. But any closing thoughts, Ryan, on this one?
No, nothing new than what you said. I mean, Nate was blessed by running back depth, but now that's a little trim. I do like Ramondre being added in there, but Hot Chain, I mean, everybody was excited to get the guy back, and whoever had him in any league was excited about his return, and that's kind of a bummer for that guy to get hurt again. But yeah, I mean, Ed's team is deep. Gibbs is getting utilized like crazy now. Brees Hall is really the only person that has a pulse in that offense. I mean, even Garrett Wilson, it's not happening with whatever quarterback you throw out there anymore. Still risky with having the two Philly wide receivers. I mean, A.J. Brown could win you a game by himself, but Devontae hasn't had a ton of big games, but he's had some consistent ones here and there. But you could have one of those games like today or last night where they both don't show up too big.
Right.
But Tank Dell, I mean, that's the pickup.
Sure.
I was fortunate to get him in another league and have him as my third option as well. So he's going to have big games. And it seems like Stroud likes him more than Nico right now. So I mean, he's just going to go after him all day. So he's going to get a ton of targets.
Yeah, and it seems like Ed just has a plethora of health all across the board, and even like the two Eagles wide receivers is a huge risk. But even if we're talking setting an alternative lineup, Tank Dell into the wide receiver too, and at this point, Rashad White's proven he's a consistent player, so him up into the flex.
Yeah.
Rye adds this team has a lot of flexibility with the roster the way it's constructed. Yeah. So moving over here to Risky versus the Ghost. The Ghost, I don't know what that Cooper Kupp injury looks like. But this is still a really good squad. Unfortunately, not in the playoffs anymore, but still going to be tough to beat. We're going to play out the regular season as it is. I'll set the lineups each week just based off projection. So it's fair for everybody that's already played them. But yeah, so, not really going to spend too much time evaluating that roster. But yeah, Mike, 112, solid. Mahomes looked awful last night. Obviously, did not a lot of love from the receivers as MVS dropped a game winner. But Saquon, huge. I didn't realize Saquon had that well. But yeah, Garrett Wilson's the glaring question mark at this point, kind of like you hit on talking about before. But Christian Watson finds the end zone. But yeah, Mike's got, with Bijan coming back into this lineup next week, and all of a sudden Charbonnet being RB1 in Seattle, this team got a lot deeper, and maybe not in the wide receiver room, but definitely in the running back department. Definitely going to be tough to stack and beat this team still, I think. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
I was gonna say they both have, I think, strong teams, and even though Mike's team lost by, what is that, 18 points or so? My math's probably messed up. He still has a solid squad.
Yeah.
Looking at Purcell's team, that team, both of those teams look like they're going to contend in the playoffs. So,
unfortunately, only one can. But,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, Purcell's team looks scary good. The Ghost team, so I know that team will be eliminated. But Mike's team doesn't look far off. I mean, it's just a matter of once you get into the playoffs, it's anybody's game. And Saquon, if he plays well like he did, Patrick Mahomes will probably play better. They played a really good Eagles team, and his for those that watched the game, his receivers didn't help him out at all.
Sure.
And so Garrett Wilson is going to get, hopefully a better quarterback because anybody but Zach Wilson. So I think Mike's team looks strong. Like, and it's gonna be a fun playoffs to watch. I'm not feeling as confident as people might think I am, but it does feel good to be at number one right now.
I'm sure. Can't relate. But no, I'd like to highlight Brandon Ayuk though. I mean, I feel like the last like 2-3 years he's been like the questionable draft pick. What are you going to get out of that guy? And he's just been nothing but a home run, all
Yeah.
like consistent as all hell. Especially with Debo in the fold. I mean that he really opens it up for everybody in that offense. But this is when Debo was hurt, I assume. But I mean, pretty awesome output there. But Ryan, any closing thoughts on this one?
Yeah, no, I think I mean it's unfortunate for Mike to catch a loss this week with a couple guys just letting him down. I mean, overall his week was pretty solid. Just Mahomes wasn't Mahomes, and Garrett Wilson just did not show. And I mean, Garrett Wilson may have more of those weeks with who was it, Tim Boyle?
Tim
I
Boyle
think, is there.
starting now, yes.
Yeah, so we'll see. That guy's probably going to throw for like 75 yards a game. So we'll see how that offense gets better or worse. And Christian Watson, I mean, same thing. I'm surprised Mike didn't try to go for like a wide receiver one. He looked like he was targeting and trying to get running backs like a Bijan. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you plug in Bijan, Saquon, and Mostert and they stay healthy the rest of the year, I mean, you got three guys that are going to get now with Achane out. You're going to get all those touches. So
Yeah.
those three guys alone, even if Mahomes doesn't show or, Garrett Wilson, I mean, he's going to be pushing 20s with those three guys probably almost every game, barring health injuries.
Yeah, I would think so. And what's Dallas Goedert's status? Is he done, or is he?
I don't think they put him on IR, so I'm assuming it's less than 4 weeks.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, he didn't get put on IR, but
well, okay. So he'll probably have him back by the playoffs. So that's just another
might have
asset
been
for Mike.
Might have been a Joe Burrow injury where they're not telling you the full
Yeah.
story of what's going on.
Yeah, but if Mike gets him inserted into this lineup now too, that's definitely as good as anybody. And then
Yeah.
Rounding us off here, probably the underwhelming game of the week. Team Coleman's kind of trending the wrong direction a little bit, I feel like. Had some really big explosive games and then have had just absolutely nothing to show for it. This is top squad here, right? For Coleman, and 90 points out of the top guys this time of year. You really don't want to see that, but gets the win. That's all that matters. And then George, unfortunately, with the he's not eliminated technically, but back down to I guess the reality of his team. But Najee and Javonte were looking really good there for a while in slow games this week, but gets Justin Jefferson back probably this week too, so still causes problems for people. But any thoughts here, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Georgia's team. Obviously, Joe Burrow going down, that's a big loss. But he does have Geno as his backup. Geno can put together a game. But I mean, Jefferson possibly getting back this week. You put Jefferson and Amon-Ra together, he might. I don't know what his schedule looks like, but he might be able to knock a few people down. The last few weeks, I wouldn't be shocked for him to start putting up 100. But Najee just so depressing. If you even saw his after game interview where he just basically throwing his team under the bus, he's just awful. But Amon-Ra and Jefferson together, I wouldn't want to face them. They can each put up 2 TDs and over 150 yards if they want to at will.
Yeah.
But Coleman, yeah, I think you're right, trending in the wrong direction. Tua's obviously still going to be Tua. Chase is going to be Chase, but now he's got a backup quarterback. So is he going to kind of fall off a little bit? There's a lot of question marks with them. I love ETN, Madison, not as much, but I wouldn't say he's as strong as say Ed or Bucher or some of those guys that are closer to the top. It might be hard for him to catch a win in the playoffs.
Yeah, I see Tyler more of our world team than I do the the top end of the Josh world. But the running back situation here really concerns me because what's going on with Dameon Pierce? Is he just like benched or is he still hurt?
He
I mean,
came
at
back.
this point, you got to play Singletary at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pierre, I know he was hurt, but is he even like, yeah, I don't see anything, so I don't know. But yeah, and yeah, with a good point on Chase with the concern there of quarterback, but yeah, so is what it be. Oh, cool! I get George this week. I'm gonna lose. Cool. Right, we'll go into picks here. I think
Jay Jettis.
yeah. So obviously, I think I set my lineup for the most part. Get my boy Downs back. I am favored. That's exciting. You know what? I'm not going to spend too much time breaking this down as we kind of just did. I'm going to win by 20. Just calling it. Ryan?
So he still has a couple moves to go, right? It looks like he's got to pull Burrow out.
Yep.
So spot him 15 there just for that move. And I don't think he's put Jefferson in, right? I'm pretty sure Jefferson's back this week. If Jefferson's back, I'm a
I'm
little
gonna
nervous.
lose. Fuck. Yeah, never mind.
So that would be my issue. Is if they haven't really announced it yet, but if he's back, I think I'm leaning Amon Ra or Amon. I'm on a new level. But you could also have a Herbert game. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to. It looks like George hasn't set his lineup probably because he's given up, but he needs to put Geno Smith in, and all of a sudden, I don't think the projections are as I think the projections are much
Right.
closer. So
yeah,
you're
I'm
gonna,
probably gonna lose.
Jefferson, right? So it'll be interesting to see, if between you and Ryan, who comes out this week. But
this might be depending on Keaton Mitchell. This might be where you learn if he scores 2 points or 22 if you win or lose.
Well, you know what? We love adversity at the Dr. K Boys. So that's what we're here for. So yeah, I'm still gonna stick with my pick of me because I feel like it's me versus me. So I'm just gonna ride it. Ryan, you picked George.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fuck it,
Josh,
upset
you're on
alert.
George.
man, if I think if you play Cortland Sutton, I would probably root for you. But I understand it's a big for you. I think Cortland Sutton's is the man now in Denver. But yeah, I think it's gonna be close. But I think you pull it out. I just don't think George has much. I don't think his team's gonna pull through. They're just gonna underperform.
That has been the theme. But yeah, cool. We got Bucher versus Nate. Ryan, I'll let you kick this one off. Just looking at this one
wow.
here.
Look at Nate's projection.
Well, I don't think Nick still got Andrews and Kenneth Walker in there,
okay.
so it's kind of the same deal as the last one.
So he's got Taylor back, and he still has Achane. There's apparently a possibility he plays, but probably slim. Bucher, yeah, he still has a couple of moves to make, it looks like. I'm gonna lean Bucher just because of looks like some of the matchups. You got Henry against Carolina. Maybe Henry has one of those Henry kind of games. And Waddle against the Jets. I know he hasn't broken out recently, but maybe Hill gets a lot of that coverage from Sauce, and Waddle is the go-to. And DJ Moore has his boy back. So I think I'm a little bit more confident with Bucher's lineup in some of those matchups than I am Nate's. So I'm going to lean Bucher on that one.
That's fair. Josh?
Yeah, same. Bucher has some sneaky players there that I think he also needs to set his roster because I see Mark Andrews is still in the starting lineup. So put Kyle Pitts in and Jaylen Warren. I don't know if he's going to start him or not, but
I think he will. I would if it were me, but
yeah, me too. I would put him over Derrick Henry maybe. I think.
Well, you got to put him in for Walker, right, in the flex.
Oh yeah, because
Walker's hurt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, but I think Bucher, it'll be this will be a good matchup. But I think if Bucher puts sets his lineup, it's his projection would be higher. So yeah, I have to lean Bucher on this one.
Yeah, and looking at Nate here, if Achane doesn't play, you're gonna move Ramondre into this RB2. And oh man, D-Hop's trying to throw some life here with Levis, but
yeah.
you got a couple options there for the flex. But You're looking at Nick's team sliding in Warren, who Matt Canada's gone. So what do we get out of that? Probably still some shitty offense, but I don't think Pickett knows how to play football. But that's just me. Still riding with Dak. I would too against that really bad Washington secondary. And picking up Kyle Pitts in the waiver drop from the trade of Nate and Mike. Obviously, good timing on that piece for Nick here, plotting him in. So yeah, I'm going to lean Bucher as well, just because I do like these matchups this week for Dak and Pollard. The Cowboys usually play pretty damn good football on Thanksgiving generally, so I kind of like that. And good point on DJ Moore and Waddle. I'm just kind of out on him. I know Nick and I highlighted him as one of those disappointing guys at our midway season pod that we did about our draft review, but yeah, he's just been the one guy in that Miami offense who's just not gotten going. And I like Jared Goff versus Green Bay this week. I think he has a nice bounce back, but yeah, just some tough sledding there with some injuries, and I don't necessarily love what Stephon Diggs is giving you at this point. I don't know how he did last week, but not great. So, I mean, we're coming off 2 bad games, plenty of targets. Buffalo's kind of a mess right now. So, for that reason, and then, Lockett against San Fran. Yeah, good night. So, yeah, Bucher, that one takes that one pretty good. So, Josh, I'm going to let you talk about Ryan's matchup here against the dreaded rearview camera.
Man, this is a good matchup, at least off based off the projection. Dang, and Ryan needs to win, right? You got you and
Everybody needs
every
to win.
week. Yeah, I need to win every week.
Yeah, you and Matt need to win, but quick glance looking at the team, I think the challenge with Ryan's roster is just you don't know who's gonna hit who's not. And Ed's team, that team looks scary. Like he has some strong bench players as well. So I think I lean Ed on this matchup. I think the Philly game versus Buffalo, because Buffalo has a good defense. So seeing whether or not they can contain AJ Brown, that might, his projection may not come to fruition. The Jets are probably going to do much better now that they don't have Zach Wilson. So Breece Hall might pick up the slack there. So it'll be good to see how this matchup pans out. Looking at Ryan's team, who else does he have over there? I wouldn't try to play Josh Dobbs again over Trevor Lawrence. It was a good move, but then again, he's playing Chicago too. So yeah, I think it looks like I would lean towards Ed on this matchup.
Gotcha, Ryan.
Yeah, it's hard for me to disagree. I mean, I think I have to get fortunate, and maybe Philly Buffalo's a low scoring game, both pretty solid defenses. If those wide receivers kind of underperform, I might be in the running, but Lamar against the Chargers, horrid defense, he might burn me pretty good in this matchup. But I do think it will be close. I just got to hope Trevor does what he did last week. I think him and Houston are going to have a shootout. But I need some of the other guys to step up. I need Devontae to have another big game. Seems like he was on the same page with the new quarterback last week. And maybe Calvin Ridley could actually have back-to-back games. I do like Gus. Gus is on a roll. If you look at his last few games, I mean, he's getting almost 2 touchdowns a game right now. So I do like some of my guys, but I need them all to perform. Like Josh's point, I need them all to perform the same week. It's literally like every other week, and I lose by 10 to 20 because one guy doesn't show up. So
right,
I would lean Ed in this one, but maybe my team feels the desperation.
But who are you picking? Are we leaning Ed, or are you picking you?
I'll pick Ed. He's got the more solid and consistent team.
Yeah,
I can't pick myself on that one.
No, I kind of agree on those points. And yeah, I mean, good points on Devontae. I appreciate Antonio Pierce's coaching style of, hey, I have the best receiver in football. I'm going to give him the ball. It's a crazy thought. So I love that. But yeah, so Ed with some roster maneuvering here. Him and I were just talking like an hour ago. He's like, I actually have some roster decisions to make as far as who I start. So yeah, I mean, like team's super deep, super strong. I'm going to lean Ed. I do think this matchup's going to be close because I do kind of agree with you on all your takes on your guys. Vegas defense, not great, I don't think. And coming off that loss, I think Kansas City's going to be a little hungry. Gus is just a touchdown machine, so no can't go wrong there. Swift has been electric all year. Buffalo, ever since losing Matt Milano, has really struggled against the run. So I think he's going to have a nice day. James Conner has been pretty consistent, and I agree with your take on Houston. Their defense, their secondary cannot stop anybody. Thankfully, they have the best rookie quarterback who's ever played the history of football as their rookie quarterback.
MVP.
Yeah, dude, he's been awesome, man. He's I think he's still having the best rookie season ever. But anyway, flipping over to Ed here. Yeah, I like a lot of these matchups. Green Bay cannot stop the run. Speaking of that, and Lions, just like the Cowboys, generally put up a nice fight, and they're 8-2, so they got a lot to play for. So I like Gibbs. I like Laporta to both find the end zone. I like Rashad White against Indy. That defense can't stop a thing. Just released their best their linebacker today in Shaq Leonard. So big move there. Team Steve, team strong. I'm gonna lean Ed. I'm giving the pick, but I do think that you put up a nice number here this week, Ryan. And I think both these teams probably push closer to 125, 130 in scoring, just based off these lineups. So let's see who we got. We got the Rock Boys next. So I'll let Ryan go first and chit chat about Josh's team, who goes up against squad.
That projection. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna lean Rock Boy just based off that projection already. I mean, he's already projecting 127. Breaking it down a little bit, I mean, Montgomery, I mean, even if he's not getting every touch, he's getting all those red zone touches. Even though Gibbs is the playmaker, CD is just on fire. Like I said earlier, he's torching every secondary now.
And that Washington defense cannot stop a damn thing in the air.
Yeah. Interesting play with Taysom Hill. Is that who I see in there at tight end? That's an interesting plug-in. I do like the Kamara, even though I hated the draft pick at the beginning of the year. So, yeah, I think I would lean Rock Boys. Josh Allen's probably going to fall out the rest of the year. He's probably just going to take over games now because they're just about in desperation mode to even make the playoffs, which is crazy to think about. And then moving over to Wuhan, a couple of good matchups. I don't like the Hubbard start, but I know he's pretty trim at running back. McCaffrey's probably going to throw you 20. Levis seems to be a little bit better with each game. And it looks like Ayuk's kind of taking some action from Debo. But I do like Michael Pittman coming off the bye. I have him in another league, and he's sneaky good. He's getting a lot of targets. Yeah, so I think the projection's probably accurate. I think Rock Boys probably wins this by around 20. But there are some opportunities for guys like Pittman or McCaffrey. I mean, McCaffrey could drop 40 if he wanted to. It doesn't even matter the matchup. So, but I think there's just a lot more depth there for Rock Boys.
Yeah, I'll go next and let you finish out on your own boys, Josh. But yeah, no, I like your point on Josh Allen. I mean, obviously he's already quarterback one in fantasy as these rankings show, but yeah, he's gonna use his legs a lot more the rest of the year with the new play caller. It's just that's his bread and butter. Got to go back to it. Yeah, I love the matchup. Eckler's going to get his volume. Obviously, Ravens defense, we know how they handle running backs pretty well, but Eckler's going to get his thing, probably get a touchdown or two. So no concern there. Montgomery and Kamara, Atlanta's defense is suspect. The Taysom Hill play is interesting, so I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, I mean, this one, look at all those guys in the top 5 of their positions in the starting lineup here. So Cowboys defense probably gets you 40 in this game too. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to pick you in this one. I do like Hawkinson against Chicago, McCaffrey every week. Carolina, good matchup for Levis. So yeah, this moment's also sponsored by Epic Games, as you can probably see in the bottom right corner there. Yeah. No, should be. I think Wuhan can beat this projection. I do like the Pittman. I like Odell this week too. But yeah, just kind of playing the wrong team this week when you got guys that are ready to play. So Josh,
Yeah, I actually think Wuhan's team is gonna score enough points to beat a lot of people this week, but he just won't beat my team. Uh,
Woo.
shout
Hot
out
man.
for having a strong. Hey, relax. Shout out to Wuhan having a good squad. You got to get him on the pod sometime. It'd be nice to hear him talk about
Well,
the
the invite's gone unresponded to for 2 months now, so
um yeah, I think for me, I started Taysom Hill because I think that I'm gonna win this week, and I want to see how he plays against Atlanta. I think that him and Kamar, ever since Kamar came back and the big running back Jamal Williams went down, Taysom Hill's been playing a lot of goal line stuff, and I think tight end is the one position that I have that is kind of the gap. Logan Thomas is inconsistent, so I'm actually trying to figure out how to.
yeah,
Uh,
man. I mean, look at these numbers.
yeah, he's been getting he gets the ball in the goal line ever since Alvin came back and Jamal went down. Alvin gets the brunt of the work, but he gets he plays receiver and he plays goal line running back.
He does
So
everything, dude.
kind of,
Yeah,
kind of a little cheat code if anyone that gets Taysom Hill if he plays well. So I kind of with Logan Thomas, he doesn't play well consistently. If I'll be happy if he just meets his projection, but he doesn't half the time. This week I think I agree. I think Josh Allen's going to start playing well, especially with his team hard to get make the playoffs. But Josh Allen also he's a turnover machine. And like it was only a week ago when he only got me like 6 points. I had already won the week, but he didn't do that well. So it's anybody's league still. I'm not feeling as like I said earlier, not as confident. Austin Eckler can have a bad game. So it'll be interesting to see how my team goes. In the long run.
yeah.
But yeah, for this week, I think Rock Boys continues the trend of continues the winning streak. And
Yeah. Try to secure that number 1 spot, right?
yeah,
Tries to get one of the shitty teams like Man Ryan in the playoffs. But no, in years past, and this is the 4th year in this league. The first year Ryan won, I think you were 500 in the regular season. Ed won last year, and he barely squeaked in the playoffs last year. I think he was a 7 seed. So, goes to show you, guys got to show up when it matters most. But yeah, I mean, your team definitely appears to be the most consistently high outputting team each week. But I did set Purcell's lineup already for the week, so probably does Milkman need to make any moves? Probably not. I think we're good. Maybe Amari Cooper, maybe not. I don't think so. No, I think we're good.
yeah, he looks like his team is set, and just to be a good matchup, I think the Milkman's teams can there's opportunities for them to overperform, especially if that
For sure.
Devin Singletary plays as well as he did last week. And you never know how well the Cowboys will play against the Commanders. So the tight end could have a much better game. They're probably going to lean on running back now that the Browns are going to lean on their running back now that Deshaun Watson is down. So I think Milkman's team has opportunity to overperform and beat out Purcell's Ghost.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked by his projection, honestly, because a lot of these guys I feel like their numbers should be bigger. In all reality, obviously Tyreek is always a monster to go off, but does Cooper Cup play? That's my obviously biggest question that I'll have to pay attention to, obviously, but I don't see any news. We'll probably get some news tomorrow, I assume, on whoopsie. I don't feel like reading that. But yeah, so I mean, probably would slot Puka Nakua in that spot, but yeah, let's see matchup wise. Yeah, I don't like Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh. I don't know how to feel about James Cook at all. I'm amazed he's RB14. Keenan Allen against Baltimore. We'll see. Keenan Allen seems to always get the ball. Yeah, I mean, that prediction feels probably about right for this lineup. I do think Milkman's is grossly undervalued this. So I'm going to lean Milkman on the pick here just because I don't agree with these projections at all. And plus, I like to see the Phantom team kind of lose anyway. But
Yeah, I got Milkman too this week. I think his projections, he's gonna do much better than what his projections say.
Ryan,
Yeah, I was as I was looking at him, I was kind of thinking the same thing, um, because I like some of the matchups too. I mean, again, I think I mentioned earlier. I think the Houston Jacksonville game is. I don't know what that over is, but they're probably going over. So I think C.J. Stroud has a huge game. Um, Jalen Hurts really hasn't looked that good, and he's got a little bit of a tougher matchup.
it's just those
He's
the tush push touchdowns, man. That's really all that
yeah.
keeps them going.
So I think his projection's a little steep. Um, I don't like the AFC North divisional matchup with Mixon, like you said. That usually ends up not being much, and they can probably just pack the box now against that team. And Keenan Allen going against a tough secondary. Keenan Allen, he's relied on him a lot this year, and it single-handedly won him some games this year. So I think Milkman, I pick him just because I like some of the matchups, and I think he's projected lower than he should be, like you alluded to.
Yeah, simpatico. And the over under on the game is 47.5. So definitely on the higher side of the average.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not 50. Maybe it moves, but I'm surprised it's not 50.
It might get bet up. It definitely could because I don't like Houston's defense, and it seems we'll see what Jacksonville we get. I think that's really the question mark. Even a bad Jacksonville though could still put up 20 points. Going to the last one here, Risky versus Coleman. Okay, let's see. Lineup set. I don't think Tyler had to move anything from his lineup last week as far as starters go, and Mike's got his boys ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I'll disclose. I'll start with this one. Looking at Mike, obviously got the check marks. Hard to disagree with any of those takes. Obviously, the tight end position until Goddard get back is a little bit of a concern. But I don't think he needs it this week. Do we get good Garrett Wilson? Do we get bad Garrett Wilson? We'll get better Garrett Wilson. I'll say that. Everyone else, I think, continues to ride. The most for projections seems aggressively low. Only 9 points. I know they're playing the Jets, but Buffalo ran the ball up and down them all game. So I don't see why Miami can't do that as well. So Mike again, this also feels like kind of a gross under projection. I think Barkley, Mahomes, and Mostert kind of blow this up to more to 120, 125. Team Coleman, Madison, I think that Ty Chandler is just going to eat those carries away. Tua should have a good game, obviously. ETN against Houston, I like that a lot. Jamar Chase against Pittsburgh, you kind of alluded to those AFC North games. You never know what you're going to get. I hate DK Metcalf this week. Dalton Schultz, I like. But everyone else kind of rough. The big names I think underperformed this week for Coleman, and Mike gets the win here to go to 8-4.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mike's projections probably should be closer to 120. Even if Garrett Wilson doesn't have a game, Saquon, Bijan, and Mostert are going to. Mahomes coming off a loss against a questionable defense, that's a little scary. And the Chiefs defense can win Mike games itself. So, I think the three-headed running backs he has now after that trade is really strong. I mean, if Garrett Wilson even just gets him 8 points a week, it's probably enough for that team.
Right.
Yeah, I think both teams look like the projections are low. Mike has some really good matchups. I think Mahomes plays good against Vegas, Saquon against New England. He has some good matchups here. Hopefully, the new quarterback with the Jets gets Garrett Wilson the ball there. But looking at Coleman's team, it's just unfortunate. And I remember when we did the pod last time, I said this, but he on paper he has a good squad. They most of them have been unperforming all season. That Jaguars running back, he should run all over Houston, but more than likely he's not gonna perform well. Jamar Chase should go off against Pittsburgh. More than he's been inconsistent all season. Madison against Chicago, Like that should be a good matchup. So I think Coleman's team is also projected.
Mhm.
It's actually, I think this is actually a good matchup, pretty even. And if I had to say who I think is gonna win it between them, I would lean Coleman. Um, Mike, that this is gonna be a good matchup. So I really, it's gonna
Yeah.
be way, but I think I would give Coleman the edge, and that's just me thinking that, hoping that his players don't underperform for once, and they actually do well against some of these teams. Houston's defense should let it get Travis the ball. Hopefully, the Cincinnati quarterback, who didn't look bad, by the way.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, so Jamar Chase might he should
Yeah, it just depends on what they try to scheme, man. Because I mean, Pittsburgh plays them so nasty, so they're gonna keep their eyes on Chase. And Higgins has really given nothing all year for the most part. It feels like. Um, so yeah, I really need to see it with Chase, and the fact that DK Metcalf still gets this fucking 14 projection a game is ridiculous to me. Like, he had a good game last week, sure, but I mean, he's wide receiver 31, and I mean, I'll click on him. He's always on my do not draft list because I don't trust him. And I'm a Geno fan, but I mean, 2 good weeks in a row here, but I mean, not great output, but for what his name is and what he should be, it's not what you want. That's in my opinion. But yeah, I do like your ATN take, but yeah, Madison, I don't know, man. Ty Chandler ran the ball really, really well last week. I think he's going to take a good bit of touches away. But so Ryan and I are on Risky, and you're on Coleman here, just to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah, seeing the two against the Jets kind of made me want to take it back. But you know what? That's all. I'm gonna stick to my
All
pick.
right. All right. There we go. So yeah, we got all the picks in, got it done. Yeah, so that basically wraps it up. About to go watch Maryland lose to UMBC in basketball tonight. So
Oh yeah.
check it out. It's gonna be great. Maryland sucks at basketball again, so that's really fun. But yeah, any closing thoughts for the week, Josh, and going into this Thanksgiving festivities?
Not really. Hey, who plays Thursday for Thanksgiving? The Lions always play, right? Y'all know what the games are?
Lions, Packers, Cowboys, Washington, and Seattle 49ers.
Be fun. Be fun. Thanksgiving. Okay.
Should be good games, I think. Well, maybe not the Washington game, but
Yeah.
the first one should be pretty good, I think. Packers are playing pretty good ball right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Ravens Chargers matchup. That'll be a fun matchup to watch, just as a Ravens fan.
Yeah, can't wait to watch Staley fumble the game away as he always does.
Such a weird team.
But yeah, Ryan, any remarks?
No, not really. Appreciate you being a commissioner in a league where everybody seems to complain. I know you got your hands full. I don't think I've ever been in a league where there's so much back and forth around every little rule and stuff. So I appreciate you taking
I
care of all
appreciate
that. And doing your best to keep a level head and make stuff fair and put a poll for every little thing on how we should pronounce stuff. So, but no,
you would think in theory that would take it off of me, but
yeah, interesting week with the 3 games Thursday. There's a Black Friday game as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That'll be cool.
Couple of cool matchups coming up, and hopefully everybody has a nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah, too bad it's the Jets on Friday. That's the only poopy part. But yeah, it's cool. We get football on Friday. Yeah, we'll see. But no, it should be fun, man. Looking forward to a lot of early games, a lot of disappointment. Looking forward to for some reason Ryan thinks I won't want to throw the football at Thanksgiving this year. I don't know why he would think that. We're ready to dial it up, dime it up, all that stuff. So yeah, ready to go. Excited for the 4-day weekend. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for joining. Josh, shout out for the good idea to do it a 3-way style here. Appreciate it. But yeah, man, everybody have a good happy holiday. Peace.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah.